are geek-centric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Geek-Centric Podcast, and welcome to our special Behind the Geeks episode for Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again. My name is Nate, and if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geek-Centric, a podcast focusing on the world of movies, TV shows, games, and all things geek-centric. And today, we've been born again. You know, I'm stoked to tell you we've got some incredibly talented folks behind Marvel Television's latest series, Daredevil Born Again. We got to chat with Justin Benson and Aaron Moorehead, who serve as executive producers and directors on the series. And if those names, you know, might sound a little familiar if you're a big Marvel fan or even just an independent film fan, but they actually helped breathe life into some previous Marvel projects, two that I am particularly fond of, and those are Loki as well as Moon Knight. You know, at the time of recording this interview, Justin and I had seen 2 of the 9 episodes, and they directed one of the ones that we saw, and boy, oh boy, they did such an excellent job with the pilot, bringing some of their techniques from their past work in independent film, but also in the Marvel series. And there are just some moments in the cinematography that I'm still thinking about that made me smile ear to ear. So you're going to hear us giving them their flowers in this chat. I'm also delighted to let you know we also have Sana Amanat, who serves as an executive producer alongside Dario Scardapane, who's also the showrunner for this series. Both of them have some fantastic Marvel work under their belts, and it was awesome getting to chat with them about, you know, kind of both adapting from what came before to, you know, capturing the right tone for these characters and the world of Hell's Kitchen. This show is really special, and I can't wait for you all to see it. It's not long. You don't have to wait too long. It's coming out tonight at 9 p.m., and I want to let you know, also coming out at 9 p.m. tonight is our spoiler-free review for Season 1. That's going to be coming out. You can watch maybe those first 2 episodes and then come back for our spoiler-free review and get hyped up all over again, because we'll be sharing our spoiler-free thoughts, not just about those first 2 episodes, but about the season overall. And yes, that means we will not be able to do a traditional week-to-week watch club like we do on this podcast, like we love to do on this podcast, but we were so lucky to have been gifted all 9 episodes to watch, so we will, you best believe, be having a spoiler-filled discussion dropping the night that episode 9 drops, so you can watch the season finale and then instantly hear our thoughts on our favorite moments, what moments really hit for us, and what we think is next for season 2, which is already in production, which is awesome. But before we get to, obviously, all that, let's get to these interviews. Let's get to these lovely conversations. First up, please enjoy our interview with executive producers and directors Justin Benson and Aaron Moorehead.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Geek-Centric Podcast. How are you both doing?
So good. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. I love that background there. That looks sick.
I know, right?
Yeah. What you don't know is that it's a green screen, and we're in a hotel room. Yeah.
Oh,
That's so real.
Yeah. I mean, props to the team. You know, it looks great.
Yeah.
It's like a live feed.
I know. I think Matt Murdock's going to jump through there somewhere.
Yeah. If you guys want to turn off the background for them, we can show how the sausage is made. Yeah.
I think we'd rather talk about this show, though. Actually.
Oh, we should.
That's okay. We should. We've seen 2 episodes of this show already, and we are blown away by them. We're also huge fans of your contributions to the MCU. So with your work on Moon Knight and Loki, what lessons or experiences from those projects did you bring to Daredevil Born Again?
You know, I'll give a really specific one. I don't know why it just popped into mind, but up until then, we'd done a little bit of TV, but mostly we make independent, sci-fi horror films with a strong character basis on them. And I was the cinematographer on all of those, and really, I like watching our cinematographer's work on Moon Knight and Loki and all that, they introduce us to new modalities of thinking and new ideas and new, trying to match their styles to ours and all that. And just watching them work has changed our visual style quite a bit. Like for example, like falling in love with wide lenses, and it's pretty interesting. Or like Isaac Bauman on Loki, he was really into a homogeneous color palette, something where it's not like many different colors in one frame, but like one strong color. Anyways, that's really specific, but it just like popped into mind when you say like, what did we get from those last 3 projects? Stealing their secrets.
Yeah, and it's all about collaboration on these projects. There's so many people involved. It's kind of like you give trust, and then you learn something through that process. And talking about process, it's no news that this show underwent some changes during production. For both of you, what was it like stepping into Daredevil Born Again midstream?
You know what? It's interesting because this was our 5th TV show we've done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the 5th TV show we've done and the 3rd with Marvel. And I'd really struggled to come up with anything that felt different than coming into any other TV show. They're all a little bit different, and they're all kind of a Rubik's Cube of trying to get that season figured out. But the one thing I will say about the Marvel project specifically, starting with Moon Knight, is that when you come from independent film and you get these opportunities to do these shows at a much bigger scope, there's obviously the sort of like cliche but also like the rumor that can be true, that it's like, oh, you're going to be such a small part of the creative process, you're just a hired gun, whatever it is. And for us, it's been the opposite. Like we've been more empowered to follow crazy ideas than anything, just as much so as anything we've done in indie film. And also, you was talking about collaboration. Everyone on Moon Knight, everyone on Loki, and everyone, especially Daredevil, is so impressive, so smart. Mm-hmm. Everyone brings their A game, and it's been a really special alchemy. And Daredevil especially, and Daredevil, we've gotten to kind of get back a little bit more into our sort of extremely naturalistic, real-world verite type shooting, where we're shooting New York as New York, and it's not as heightened.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. And we had a conversation with Brad Winderbaum a while back, and he talked about how movies are very much a statement, and television is a conversation. And we are such huge fans of the conversations you've had with us as viewers through these shows. So thank you so much.
And by the way, and what I just said prior, that was like, that Brad is in that camp where it's like, oh, he brings so much and he's so smart. And something about all of us getting together, we feel like we made something really special.
Very cool. Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, and can't wait to see where this show goes, to continue having this conversation.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right. Take care, guys.
And now, please enjoy our interview with executive producer Sana Amanat and executive producer and showrunner Dario Scardapane. Hey, Sana and Dario. Hi, my name's Nate.
And my name's Justin. Thank you so much for joining us on the Geek-Centric podcast. How you both doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
Doing great. We're talking to you guys. So we're thrilled.
Yeah, we're loving this show. We've seen 2 episodes so far, and they've blown us away.
Right on. That makes my day.
When bringing Daredevil Born Again to life, there was a series prior to this that was phenomenal with 3 excellent seasons. What was it about the original Netflix series that you thought may be essential to carry over, and what did you want to do differently to give this series its own identity?
I think it's kind of, we wanted to take pretty much everything about the original series, which was near and dear to my heart, and I worked really closely with, and move it forward in time. Move it forward, acknowledge everything that happened to those characters then, but also bring them forward 7, 8 years into older, and they should be wiser. Some may be, some may not be, and to take a lot of the struggles and dreams and bring them into a now, and then, as you know from watching it, jumble it all up again. There were 3 names on a napkin at the end of season 3, and we moved those 3 names into a place and then go. So it was always, there are elements of the original that have to withstand. And as far as, I don't know if it would be different, the word, I would say evolved. And then one of the things that's been so fun is making television 7 years later, 8 years later, we have more resources. There's things we could do now that would have been absolutely cost prohibitive to do in the earlier shows.
Do we have more resources? I don't feel
Compared
like
to
that.
compared to the Punisher budget compared to this, like, oh my goodness. So it was a matter of and kind of almost a larger palette. You know, we're talking about New York on a grand scale in the conflict between Fisk and Murdock this season. So we've taken everything that happened before and ramped it way up. And it's good to see some of our old faces back, and it's hard to see some of the things that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And that first episode is stellar in terms of reinvigorating the Daredevil world, if you will. Now, Sana, I wanted to ask you, each MCU show has its own distinct vibe, almost like a unique lens through which we see these worlds through. And given that Daredevil Born Again has a very different tone from something like Miss Marvel, which you worked on very closely, what goes into selecting characters from other MCU projects like a Yusuf Khan and integrating them into this darker, more grounded world while staying true to who they are?
Yeah, I think that was actually a really fun challenge because, I mean, for me personally, I love the different types of tones and genres we play with. I went from working on Captain Marvel, the comics, to working on Daredevil, the comics. So I'm very familiar with switching very comfortably, and I was so excited to join Daredevil when I did. And I think with someone like Yusuf Khan, it was just, how do you tone him in a way that works within the world of this show, but also doesn't really, take away sort of the fun and warmth that character brings. And, it's all in the same way. I don't know if you, a good example actually for me is the character Daniel, played by Michael Gandolfini. I think he has a bit of that charm and edge that is sort of classic MCU, which feels maybe a touch lighthearted, but that I feel like it blends really nicely into our world. So that's kind of what we think about, is we don't want to change our characters by any means, but we'd have to try to find a way to bring them into the world and the feeling of Daredevil. So I think we did a pretty good job. I mean, we do it in the comics all the time, so I feel like it's pretty organic to do it here too.
And that's very much why we wanted to ask. It kind of goes the other way, because our first introduction to Daredevil was She-Hulk, and that was a different tone, different vibe of a show.
Yeah.
And obviously is very rooted in what we know and love. Listen, we are so grateful for the opportunity to talk to you. We've loved the first 2 episodes, as we said, and we're really excited to see what's next for Matt Murdock and as Daredevil.
That's awesome.
I hope you dig it.
Yeah.
Cool. I hope you guys like it.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Have a good one.